Okay, this is going to be part 3 to Juliet Kawasaki's disease. Sorry, I had to recuperate from crying a little bit, because I don't want to be crying on the video. Well, after when they finally confirmed that it was the Kawasaki's disease, they did all these kind of tests, and at first it seemed like their first treatment worked, because her fever went away. And they kept checking her fever every day to make sure it stayed down, and it did. But then on Monday morning, 3 days after her first treatment, her fever came back. And I started breaking down because I thought it was gone. But no, it came back. Her fever came back. So they had to give her treatment again, and that was supposed to be the day we were going to be going home. So I got really upset because it was going on almost a week for being in the hospital, and I couldn't wait to go home. But I knew my daughter's health was more important than going home. So they did a heart cardiogram on her heart, and it was pretty swelled up pretty bad, but it would have been worse if she didn't get treated right away. And her white blood cells was out of control. They were very high. The normal rate is like under 12. Like, I don't know what they mean by 12, but hers was like almost to 200, and that was not safe for her body. So they had to give her another treatment, and it did work, the second one, but I know I might be bouncing all over the place, but it's like some things I left out for personal reasons. But my sister Jenny did come to visit one night when Jonathan went home to go back to work, and she couldn't believe how bad Juliet looked. She was in tears herself. Juliet didn't want anybody to hold her except for me and Jonathan. Yeah, it got tiring, but knowing that Juliet was sick and all she wanted was her mommy and daddy. And most kids, when they're sick, that's all they want is their parents. So, after Jenny came to visit, she started to get a little bit better. And Jenny brought me an extra outfit because I was wearing the same clothes for almost a week straight because I had no idea we were going to be at the hospital that long, for one, and we weren't prepared. We went to the doctor thinking we were going to be going back home, but no, right from the doctors we went all the way to the hospital, so that's why I only wore one outfit. So Jenny brought me a few of hers because she and I were about the same weight at the time. And we also had other friends that came over to visit. My Aunt Carol and Aunt Louie came, and my sister Liza came. So they kept me busy. They all kept prayers for Juliet. And some people even was being negative about Juliet being sick and kept blaming me or Jonathan for being sick, that we weren't doing a good job taking care of her and we're the reasons why she was sick. And some doctor said she was gonna die of this illness, and me as a mother, I don't need to hear things like that. I didn't cause this illness. Kawasaki's disease has no cause. They don't know what causes it right now. That they're still learning it because it's still a new disease. Well, not new, but less common disease as much as the other ones, like swine flu and all the other disease that other kids might get. And it hurts hearing my own uncle that married my Aunt Michelle say that I was the reason why she was sick. I did not need to hear that. So I got upset and I called my mom and I said I do not need to be bashed for my own family. And she even agreed that it wasn't my fault and she had to try to keep me calm. Because for me, being already emotional as it was, it did not help feel like I was to blame of she being sick. I kept asking myself over and over, why is she sick? She was so healthy, she did not deserve to be sick, why her? And then at times I did blame myself. I was like, what if I did something wrong? But the doctors assured me that I did nothing wrong. They don't know what causes it, so they said that all that matters is we brought her to the hospital and they're doing the best they can to take care of her. And they did. They were on top of the game. All the nurses were very kind, and if we had any questions and concerns, they were there. And at times I felt like I was a bad mom because Juliet IV got sort of infected in the hand, and this was like at 2 in the morning because I noticed she wouldn't go to sleep and she kept moving her hand, and I noticed all this liquid feeling around her bandage, and I smelled it, and I noticed that maybe her IV was loose, and so I went to go get our nurse, and she came in, and the IV wouldn't go back in, so they had to replace it and take it out, and and I said I did not want to go because they had to take her down to ground level because she was like swelled up so bad, so they couldn't get it back in here, so they had to take her down to an emergency where there are people down there more prone to getting IVs in, and I couldn't go. I couldn't handle hearing her crying, and I felt like a bad mother because she needed me the most, and I don't know why I didn't go, because I just sat in the bed worried about her. So I just sat in the bed, thinking of what's going on, what's taking them so long. Because to me, minutes seems like hours. And I just wanted her back up there with me. And I didn't want to leave the room because I had no idea whereabout they went to down there. So finally, like almost 2 hours later after they took her, I noticed the IV wasn't in her hand anymore. It was down around her leg, at the bottom of her foot. And that looked so painful. And seeing all the dry blood around her, it just hit really hard hearing her still cry. And I couldn't even go to sleep that night. I just wanted to hold Juliet so close. I wasn't sure if she was gonna make it or. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, on the day before Halloween, we were finally released from the hospital. And she looked a little bit better. Her fever stayed gone, but she had to be on aspirin therapy and Plavix therapy, which the aspirin is supposed to prevent the fevers from coming back, and the Plavix was supposed to prevent more swelling in the arteries of the heart, to prevent blood clots and stuff, so the heart won't stop beating or the walls won't close. So we took her home, and we were so happy to be home. The day of Halloween, Jenny and Sabrina came over for like a welcome home party, and Jenny and Sabrina were nice enough to babysit Juliet because we didn't want to take her out to any stores because she just came home from a major illness, and we wanted to still buy her a pumpkin for her first Halloween. At first I wasn't sure whether to get one or not, considering that it was already Halloween and we didn't want to waste a pumpkin. And everybody said still get her one, so we did. And then we had a good Halloween, and I thought everything was going to get better from there. And there's going to be a video for the rest.